Today, I be mostly polishing Trago Ammonite.
This is a little project I started a while ago. This is a Trago from Charmouth. Just a little bit of this was showing out the rock. So I took it home. I've gone in here with the engraver with the tungsten tip from Zoic Paleotech, and it's absolutely minced it. It's gone lovely through this really hard matrix from Charmouth. No problem at all. I've gone in around the sides here and taken it back. It has got in through some of the ammonite, but it's already worn and knackered anyway. And I've tried to gently ping off the shell as daring as I can with the tip, without taking without putting too many dings into the calcite. So we're going to be doing a little bit of a cut and polish video. So we've still got all these marks from the engraver, so to get rid of that I'm going to start off with the rotary tool with a diamond wheel, and I'm just going to try and smooth off that a bit. Once we've got that nice and smooth, I might go for some other bits for the engraver, little carbide cutting wheel things. They're pretty good. And once we've got all this all nice and smooth, we're going for different grades of wet and dry. Not entirely sure what the grade is on these because they don't really say, so we'll just go for a bit of guesswork with the names. Then when we're finished with those, we'll go with the 1500 and the 2000, because I know these are nice and shiny. So as always, when you're grinding stone or anything, make sure you've got a decent dust mask and a decent set of ear defenders, because the ringing after a while just makes your ears ring forever. So we're going to get on to a bit of time-lapse. The diamond wheels work really good on there. I used the diamond wheel just to take off the worst of the lines, the marks from the engraver, and then you're still left with lines from the diamond disc because you can't get it flat enough. So then I've used this little stone carbide wheel thing. That's got it all pretty nice and flat there. Pretty much ready for starting to sand. You can see some of the nice suture lines between the chambers there. Shame I batted that off, but I didn't know what I was doing, and trust me, I'll come back with a ton of rocks. I've still got a lot of stuff I've hardly even looked at. So we're going to start with this medium, must be about 120 I suppose. there's still a fair amount of shell on there by the looks of it, and a bit of matrix in the middle of there still, so I'm going to use some more bits on the rotary tool, possibly some diamond bits to get right in there nice and small. There. When you're polishing, you want to get her nice and wet. She likes to be wet. A little pot of water here. What I'll do is keep giving it a little rub. Keep it in your little sponge or your wet and dry paper. Wet and dry paper is just as good, but I do prefer these little sponges. Looking purty already. She'll be nice once we're finished. We'll go at this for a couple of minutes, see if we got any lines, see how much more we need to take off, and then we'll go back down for another different grit. We'll switch over for a little time lapse. I'll first go with the wet and dry. It's come up quite nice. Doesn't seem to be too many lines. The calcite seems to be quite deep. I've gone quite far through. I think I've gone through the shell. I'm starting to lose some of the sutures now, so I don't really want to go much further unless I have to. I'd have to grind this flat really to get through to that nice calcite there. But still, she'll look nice once we finish polishing. We'll go back through a few more grits now. Moving on to the fine.
Super fine. Micro fine. Ultra fine.
I'll whip through those quickly on the time lapse. And we get ready for our final stages. That's come out really well. I've given it a few hours to dry off, and we got a really good shine from the wet and dry there. I still could go back really and get back onto this matrix behind it and go back down through the grade, start again and get a bit closer here, but it gives a nice contrast. Usually I don't polish the matrix behind an ammonite, because this has got the sutures, and I'm going to give it a go, a little cheat. I'm going to put a bit of beeswax polish on, see if that hides it. If not, I'm not too bothered. But amazing shine already just from buffing the rock down. So I'm going to give it a little polish with some beeswax. Gotta say it in a farmer accent. It's a pretty good little polish. I saw a great video from the rock showman. Do geologists lick rocks? Oh yes they do. He had something similar that he used on his ammonite where he was polishing, and it makes a difference. It doesn't really leave a residue. I've always polished them and just with the sandpaper and not actually used any polish. We're going to give this one a go with a bit of the beeswax. Get some of the excess off. I am going to get just round here on the outside. Probably too much on my brush. Don't want to get really any on the matrix. I'm just trying to buff the ammonite and the ammonite that I've ground and polished behind it. This is whiffy stuff. You want to use this outside or inside. Here I've got my extractor fan going. I'll leave that for 10 minutes, let that soak dry, and then we'll give her a good old buff in.
11 minutes later.
That's had about 10 minutes to dry off now and soak in. Looks like there's still some of the marks there, so I will have to go back round the outside of this at some point with some wet and dry. But for now, we'll just give it a buff with a nice clean soft brush and take the excess off. That's given the ammonite behind a good old shine. Personally, I wish I just left the ammonite shiny and that dark behind it, but I could grind this down. I'm going to need to buff this down anyway, so I can bring that back to matte-ish anyway. So in like 10-15 minutes you can easily polish up ammonite using different grades of wet and dry. Make sure you're always lubricating it with soapy water all the time. Some fossils do take a little longer, and rock minerals take a little longer. They're a lot harder, like this matrix. You can still see the lines on there. This obviously takes a lot more buffing than obviously the calcite buffs quite quickly and easily. I hope you've liked the video. I will do another one soon with some other ammonites that I've got. Some full calcite beach worn ammonites. Thank you for watching.